Hey guys, okay, so many years ago, many years ago, at least like probably 15 or more years ago, I found a book. Well, I didn't actually find it. I would say literally God led me to a particular book that had really changed my life. It changed my relationship with my late husband at the time. And I have many times shared this information that I read in this particular book. I really feel like he was, moved by the Holy Spirit to write this information, because I think it really helped clarify to me the roles in a marriage, and just basically how important it is to show respect to your husband. Now, this book, it is a Bible-based book. So if you're not a Christian or you don't believe in the Bible, whatever, you're not going to like this information. But it is actually still good information, and it really doesn't matter either way if you are a believer or not, simply because there hasn't been one man that has told me that he didn't agree with this information. So, and he's a man who wrote the book. Anyway, the book is called Love and Respect from Dr. Emerson Eggerichs. Okay? And he does have like a whole like, online website and stuff, and like ministry type of thing where, coaching or something, for couples and everything. And he has a lot of videos on YouTube. But he has several other videos as well, or several other books as well. But this first book, Love and Respect, right? He breaks down how to show love to your wife and what that looks like so she can hear it, and how to show respect to your husband. And he also breaks down, basically, based on the scriptures, why women find it easy to love, harder to show respect, right? But men feel loved when you show them respect. And he breaks down how to show them, how to show it. Okay, in a way that each sex can actually understand it or feel it. Okay, now it's a very good book. I've read it actually 4 times. Okay, I still have it, but I still refer back to it quite a bit when I'm talking to girlfriends or different people, and we talk about relationship stuff or whatever. Okay, now in his book, he breaks down for the women, there's like 6 chapters, and he breaks down what does it look like and how to show respect to your husband and what that looks like, which in turn actually makes him feel loved. Because if you are in a loving relationship, or if you love somebody, or if you're with somebody and you genuinely want him to feel loved by you, then you really need to do that by showing him respect. Okay, and it might kind of, for us women, it kind of sounds counterintuitive, right? But it's not for the man. And he actually breaks down like why. Okay, now there's an acronym that he uses in the book, and that he talks about how to spell respect out to your husband, and he uses the word chairs. Now I already pulled it up, okay, because you can find this information now obviously online, but it is from this particular book, Love and Respect. So I definitely recommend it if you don't have it, you never heard of it, or download it. You can, it's on Amazon, it's everywhere. Okay, now how I actually found this book, though, I want to share. I found this book through prayer. I was literally led through prayer, through God, when I really was having a moment with my husband, my late husband, and I was asking God specifically to please give me a list. I needed a breakdown list of what I needed to do to encourage my husband, basically. And when I say literally, while I was in prayer, looked up, and it was like a light was shining on the book in Walmart. This was many years ago, and it was when Walmart was open 24 hours, and I was having a moment or whatever, and I was in the store around 2 a.m. So for me, while I don't necessarily share all of the same religious beliefs as far as like towards the end of the book and necessary, it's not about that. This book actually literally changed the whole direction of my marriage, and it really built us up quite a bit. But on top of that, it came to me through prayer, and since then, because it's been out for many years, since then the information in this book has been quoted by so many people, so many therapists, so many other religious institutions and stuff like that. Okay, so it's very good, solid, sound information, regardless of if you believe in God or not. Okay, but I'm gonna break this down. There's an acronym, and so I'm gonna just read it. Okay, it says, in the context of the love and respect framework, CHAIRS is the acronym that helps wives understand how to show respect to their husband, while couple, the word couple, okay, is the acronym which helps husbands to understand how to show love to their wives. Okay, so number one, you have to have a desire. So number one, you have to have a desire to want to show love and respect or whatever to this other person. So if you're in a place in your marriage or whatever and you have a desire to genuinely love and respect that other person, but you're just having a hard time in the communication, this will help. If you actually genuinely don't respect that person or don't like him, or you can't get along, or you've just actually been hurt too many times by this person, or you've been scarred, or you've had to go and, you know, sit in a corner and heal yourself and lick your wounds from this person or whatever, then this is going to sound like to you, because you're not going to want to do it. Okay, so there needs to be a real genuine love and attraction and all of that. Okay, another wasp. Okay, so anyway, CHAIRS is how to spell respect to your husband. Now, the CHAIRS is an acronym which stands for: C stands for conquest, appreciate his desire to work and achieve. H is hierarchy, value his desire to protect and provide. A is authority, acknowledge his need to serve and to lead. I is insight, recognize his ability to analyze and counsel. R is relationship, enjoy shoulder to shoulder friendship, which he does explain in the book what that means. And I remember this point in this particular chapter was definitely something that I needed to work on everything at that point. I felt, well, except for the last chapter was the only thing that I got like a complete A plus on, which was the last chapter, or the last part was S is for sexuality. It says appreciate his desire for sexual intimacy. So that was definitely the only chapter that I felt like I really got an A plus in. But anyway, the R stands for relationship, which is enjoy shoulder to shoulder relationship. I really like how he broke that down, how men like to do, like a lot of times when you need to talk to your man about something, or you kind of want to build a bond, men do it through doing things. And a lot of people have learned this and heard this now through many other books and stuff. But like men, if you ever notice, they like to, you know, like go do something like fishing or something, and they might talk out their problems with their man or with their guy friend or whatever while doing something. Like they like that. Or even if you just go and hang out with your man while he's doing something, and even if you don't talk, or even if you're not talking about anything, he will feel energized, you know, basically because it was like, he calls it shoulder to shoulder time. I'm not explaining it. I'm gonna have to like go into the book or whatever the way he really explains it, but it was actually really good information for me. I remember that being at the time very new for me, and I had to be, I think I was I might have been about 29. I think I was in my 20s or 28, I don't know, when I first read this book. So it's been a while, but I still have it, because like I said, I read it 4 times when I first got it, and I've referred back to it several times. But anyway, okay, so that's what that stands for. Now the word couple, C-O-U-P-L-E, okay, this is how you spell love to your wife. Okay, C stands for closeness, establish intimacy and emotional connection. Closeness for women. Now this is basically, remember, this is for women. Like if you want your wife or your significant other or your girlfriend or whatever to feel close to you, or if you're trying to work on your relationship, okay, and you want to show, you can't just be like, I pay the bills, that means I love you, or, you know, here, throw some money at her and be like, here you go, that means I love you. I know so many men who are like, you know, they say I love you one time a year or whatever, and they just think, well, that was enough for the whole year or something. And you know, it's like, no, women need way more than that, right? So anyway, he's spelling it out. So closeness, women want closeness. So C stands for closeness, okay? Establish intimacy and emotional connection, emotional connectivity, openness, okay? O stands for openness, maintain open communication and trust, like what I've been saying, okay? U, understanding, listen to her needs and perspectives. For me, this is definitely very huge because I am a talker and I do like to talk and everything. For me, talking is a form of connection. I definitely build, for me, I feel like I form a closeness and a bond, and I feel like the relationship grows if I have the kind of man that listens very well. Like if he's a good listener and doesn't, and is open with me, but whenever we're talking, but likes to let me talk, basically. That is definitely like a winner chicken dinner to me. Like if you want to be like my hero for real, for me, like these are the things I definitely, my green tea and talking to me. I'm a very simple chick, to be honest with you. I'm very simple, but I like other things too, believe me. But this is huge because to me, listen to her needs and perspective, because a lot of men, they might hear you complain about a problem about something, right? And it's like, oh, I need help. If I say, oh, I can't stand blah, 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 and he right away wants to solve the problem, right? And a lot of times as women, we just need to like vent and get things out and just like talk about it, because we usually feel so much better once we talk about it or once we vent, right? And I know I definitely feel that way when I am in a relationship with somebody and I have that time to kind of just like talk or whatever. I come away feeling, for me, because especially for me now, not all women are like this, because not all women are talkers like me, but I definitely come away feeling closer and more satisfied in my soul. Okay, basically for me, for sure. But especially if he understands and he's listening to understand, he's not listening to just try to solve a problem, right? Okay. P is for peacemaking. So be a peacemaker and resolve conflicts constructively. I talked about that yesterday, right? So basically, be a peacemaker or look for peace. Don't come home and don't come home and be like, roar, and have all kinds of roaring at everybody and, complaining about crumbs here or, where the Tupperware is at, or just complaining, finding any little thing to complain about, or, just basically starting arguments. Cause I was in a relationship with somebody who basically told me he liked it when we argued. He literally said that. I like it when we argue. Cause when you argue, for him, it felt normal. It felt good to him because his family he grew up in a household that argued all the time. And so it felt normal to him. For me, I was like, no, this is toxic. This is wrong. I'm not trying to argue. This is not peaceful to me. I was like, what? No. Okay. And also if that man is used to chaos and a chaotic environment, he might be a fire starter, trying to start stuff just to kind of poke the bear because he wants to argue with you because he feels like he's getting some emotion out of you. No, I don't operate like that. I can give you plenty of emotion and I can give you plenty of, vivacious, enthusiasm without arguing. Okay. I don't like that. And I don't want to have to always be the one who is being the peacemaker. I don't like that. For me, this matters to me. If he is trying to also be a peacemaker. I feel be my peace. I always hear men are always saying that. He wants you to be his peace. And I am every man that I've ever run to, and I don't know why. And I'm not complaining because I actually really have, for the most part, dealt with pretty decent men. I mean, really, they're overall decent guys, or they mean well or whatever. They don't realize how unhealed they are. But anyway, the point is that every one of them, though, have been the fire starters, not me. I am actually not a fire starter, believe it or not. While I am very dramatic in my flair in my speech or whatever, and I can be, diva, whatever, but I'm actually usually in my own world for the most part because I have so much that I like to do. I do so many things. I always have stuff going on, right? So, I don't really have time to argue. I'm not trying to argue. And that, when I was like that, a little bit, it was when I was young in my first marriage and I was very youthful and I was just more nagging, nitpicking. I learned how to nip that in the bud. I learned how to get rid of that issue, or, whatever, young. So I'm not the type, I'm not going to nag and bother, I'm not going to start an argument either. If I ask you to hang up my curtains and you don't do it after 2 or 3 times, I'm just not going to ask you anymore. I'm going to ask the maintenance man that comes over. That's who I'm going to ask. And guess what? He's going to be my hero, not you. That's just how I look at it. And I'm not saying I'm going to cheat on you like that, but it's, I know it might sound like that, but what I'm saying is like, okay, I just feel like, if you're in a relationship with me, like we're in a marriage or relationship or whatever, and I'm coming to you for help for this or that I know you can absolutely do it, but you just put it off on the back burner because it's not important to you, right? And instead of me arguing about it or whatever, I aim to keep the peace by just hiring out the job for somebody else or whatever, right? And then don't get mad when I have to have another man come in and do the things around the house that I want done, okay? Because that's pretty much how I roll. I'm not going to argue. I'm just going to go ahead and find another way because I want my curtains up, or I want whatever I'm decorating or whatever I'm doing in the house, right? Because I'm telling you, like, that's pretty much how I am. That's really, truly how I am. I love to decorate, and I love to create spaces and stuff, and I like to be creative in general. So I do makeup from my house, and I like to be useful as far as, like, I need every area in my space in my home where it's useful and flowing and all of that kind of thing. So I always have a lot of ideas and things that I want to execute, right? But I always need help executing them, really, because I'm not very strong or whatever. And it's more or less I need the help, the manpower to do it, right? And so anyway, that's been an issue for me. Like, I find that a lot of guys are, they get real lazy after they get with you or whatever. They get real lazy doing stuff for you. And they want to be your hero all the time before you are actually married or together with them. They want to do all kinds of stuff for you, and they're capable of doing it. But then once you get married or whatever, they just get very, very lackadaisical, with the same things that you asked them to do when you were dating, okay? And I know a lot of men have admitted to me that they do tend to be that way. They do. And they need a little shot in the butt to get going, right? But you can do it respectfully, and you can definitely do it respectfully. And sometimes some men just need to see that another man has stepped in to go put up curtains or do something or whatever, and that kind of gets them going a little bit, But, anyway, to me, that's a big, big deal. Like, is being a peacemaker. Don't look to start little arguments and dumb stuff about dumb things, like, just dumb things, Like, in other words, ask yourself before you start an argument, woman or man, okay? Woman or man, ask yourself, A, does this matter? Do I have to even say anything? Like, do I really need to even complain about this and bark about this? And secondly, how are you asking? How are you communicating? Like, if you're communicating like you're on D block, from like, when if you ever had to do that time or whatever, okay, if you ever had to, be in a rough place or whatever, and you had to go hard or whatever, if you were ever like that or whatever, you don't have to do that with your woman, and you shouldn't have to do that in your family. You got to save that hardness for the streets, or you got to save that hardness for D block, okay? You can't be bringing that into a relationship. That's going to run off anybody, because that's not peace. That's not making peace, right? So anyway, the next one is L, is for loyalty. So demonstrate commitment and faithfulness. I mean, this is a no-brainer. This is really a no-brainer. So obviously she wants you to be loyal, and he is going to want you to be loyal as well. I think this goes for both. Unless you just have an open relationship or whatever, then that's cool. That's between y'all. I don't do open relationships. I don't share men. And I'm not cool with flirting and third parties, fourth parties, baby mamas, and people trying to get in the drama or, doing all that kind of stuff. No, I don't do that. I don't play that. I don't have time for that. I literally just leave. I'll just leave. I literally will be like, bye. If I sense anything like that, I'm just not even going to fight, because again, I have a very strong feeling about this. First of all, I'm happy being by myself because I like myself. I actually like what I do. I'm good. I actually am, I lived on my own for 4 years before I ever got married. I lived on my own. Okay. I was very independent. My mom used to say I was born with an agenda. Okay. So like, I could be very happy. And I actually found my gift early in life, meaning like, I enjoy and find fulfillment in what I do, right? And it fulfills me. And, of course I have kids or whatever, but I have enough to do in my life. So I'm good, right? But I'm actually I feel happier and I feel like I'm even better as a woman when I'm in a relationship. But it's like, if you're not going to be my peace, or you're not going to be a peacemaker, or you're going to stress me out in any kind of way, or you make my hair fall out, or you give me ulcers, or you stress me in any kind of way, or you start acting like a demon, or just some weird crap, or something crazy, Jekyll and Hyde, narcissistic, whatever, or you decide to go back to a baby mama, or you decide to step out, or anything crazy, okay? Anything like that, for me, I just assume as rather be by myself and alone, okay? Because I can be my own peace. Right? And God always blesses me. He always blesses me because I always move from a good place in my heart. My intentions are always of the light and very much of love. And that's how I approach relationships. And I'm open-hearted and I have no problem sharing emotions and I don't hide things and all of that, right? But because of that, or whatever, you know, when something happens or whatever, I can't stay around with bad treatment. I just can't. And God sees that. And I mean, and I don't talk about after one time. I'm talking about, like, you know, I'm going to give that person some time and I'm going to communicate ample enough, right? And ample enough communication to, like, let's rectify the problem or whatever. But after that, I got to go because I could be happy by myself. Okay. And I can't have my hair falling out and I can't have ulcers, you know, and I can't be having, like, pimples all over my face and breaking out and bags under my eyes. And no, nobody wants to live a life like that. I'm sorry. That's a no. That's just a no. And like I said, I'll be by myself. I don't care. Like, that's just how I feel about it, right? So it's like, loyalty is important. Both parties usually want loyalty, right? But also in being peaceful. Like, don't bring drama, don't bring problems, or don't be a fire starter in a relationship, right? Okay, esteem. E stands for esteem, which is show respect and value her. This is how you esteem her. Okay, so look, I'm going to show you the acronym. Okay, so you can look this up yourself. Here's chairs, how to spell respect to your husband. Okay, so in the book, he goes into each one of those is a separate chapter that he spells it out. And he also asks these questions, or self-reflected questions at the end of the book, which is how I knew I needed to buy that book when God brought it to me that night. Because when I looked at the back chapters and I asked the questions, I knew I couldn't answer them honestly in a good way. For a lot of them, I knew I needed some work, right? So I was like, yeah, I need this book. I mean, the only one chapter that I answered with a 100% A+ was the one on sexuality, because we had no problem with that. But anyway, yeah, this book really helped me out a lot. Okay, so let me see if there's anything else on here. I'm at 23 minutes, so I'm trying to keep these two shorter and shorter and shorter. But anyway, I'm going to read this. It says, in the Love and Respect book, Dr. Egridge argues love is her deepest need and respect is his deepest need. And I believe this is based on the Bible in Ephesians 5:33. Nevertheless, let each individual among you also love his own wife, even as himself, and let the wife see to it that she respects her husband. So that's Ephesians 5:33. And if you sincerely have a problem where you feel like you really cannot respect that man, whoever you're married to or whoever you're with or whatever at the moment, if you really feel like there is a huge problem with trying to respect that man, right, then you're going to have a problem in general in your marriage, because he's going to, as long as he feels because his greatest need is to be respected. If he feels continuously disrespected in his marriage, eventually the marriage is going to have to dissolve, really, because you can't suffocate. It's literally like suffocating somebody. Like, if you're in a marriage with somebody and you feel like you're not getting love from him, as a woman, don't we feel suffocated? We feel like empty and suffocated, like like took the air out of us or whatever. Like, it's a meaningless relationship, right? I mean, unless you're married for other reasons, and I'm not talking about that. If you're married for money, or you're married for the kids, or you're married for other reasons and you find that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in a relationship where you're expecting to actually have reciprocal love to and fro, right? Back and forth, even, okay? That's what I'm talking about. So if you are feeling unloved by him continuously, at some point you're just going to be like, why am I here? I'm going to find somebody who actually loves me. And he's going to feel the same way about respect. So it's kind of like, it's really not something that you can fake. You need to actually at least have a genuine, sincere desire to show love. Maybe you need help in the communication department and you need help expressing that love or expressing that respect. And that's what this book is for. Okay? All right, that's it. It's 25 minutes, guys. See ya.